Some say this universe is made of light and darkness. These ancient forces flow through all matter and energy in our solar system and beyond. But we haven't always known this. When the Traveler arrived in our solar system, they called it many things. A ship, a planet, a god. Its presence provoked and inspired great change. It terraformed several moons and planets. Our lifespans increased threefold. And we launched colony ships to settle worlds beyond our own. This was our golden age. But like all golden ages, it was doomed to collapse. The Traveler was pursued by an ancient enemy, a voice in the darkness. It found us. Humanity lost everything. With the last of its strength, the Traveler pushed back its enemy to create something new. The ghosts. In the dark times that followed the collapse, the ghosts chose the first light-bearers. Immortal warriors gifted with the power of the Traveler's light. Humanity faced many threats in those days. Invaders from beyond our system arrived in droves. Pirates, called the Fallen, came to scavenge the remains of our golden age. The warlike Cabal came for our territory and resources for conquest. The Hive, ravenous worshippers of death, came to feed their infernal hunger. And the Vex, strange living machines, came to recreate our world in their own brutal image. We fought with each other as well. For a time, chaos reigned. Though in the end, we came together to rebuild, to heal. We built a city under the Traveler, the last safe city of Earth. In this city, humanity lived peacefully in all its forms. The humans, Earth's original inhabitants, the Exos, marvels of the Golden Age, and the Awoken, a people touched by both light and dark. Lightbearers took an oath to protect the last city. Over the centuries, they earned the title Guardians. The Titans, paragons of strength and bravery. The Warlocks, mage scholars trained in the arcane arts. And the Hunters, bold adventurers gifted with cunning. Guardians know that when they stand together, they are stronger. And now, new threats use our own powers against us. The Black Fleet closes in, edging us toward a second collapse. And our greatest adversary, the voice in the darkness, is revealed. A being of unimaginable power. The Witness. But all is not lost. Brand new Guardians rise every day to shape the future of our solar system and beyond.
After playing Destiny for 9 years now, I've understood and seen how the game has developed. Over time, this game gets more and more diverse in what kind of identity this game wants to hold. The game doesn't understand itself where it wants to go. Bungie has no clear view of what they want to make out of the game. One year they want to go for a competitive Halo-esque shooter with an open world exploration type of game. Next year they want to go for a more extreme, fast-paced PvP shooter where they want to explore more in depth on how the game is going to be structured, from worldview to content structure to playlist activities to everything. Next year they decide to go for a more seasonal structure where you have to pay every single season to be able to unlock the seasonal content. And then they decide to remove the entire game on what they have built upon to now head towards a new way of playing the game. The game doesn't know itself what it wants to be. It never has, and it is really annoying to see all the feedback that is bad for the game take into what the game has become. People wanted more ways to play the game, so Bungie gave us more ways to play the game. When we got more ways to play the game, Bungie gave us simpler ways to play the game, and it has led to ways to just the game is just a copycat of each other. Inspect every single Void Titan you match in PvP. What did they use? The exact same thing. It's the best PvP build in the game. Once you see something like the subclass 3.0 system take place, everyone just used the same fragments, same aspects and everything. As soon as you see weapon crafting come around, everyone has the same godroll, the same weapon and everything. Nothing changes. Before, you would see people try out different perks and roles and see what ways they would find the weapons more enjoyable. Now it's just a copy-paste of whatever you see the best player use. And it's kind of disappointing and sad at the same time. If, say, Wallabro makes a video about a weapon, the next day everyone will be using that weapon. And then he posts another video about another weapon, and everyone's going to be using that weapon. They don't think themselves what they want to play as. They just look at the wider scene and use whatever their favorite content creator uses. I enjoyed Destiny because of how diverse it was. Now it's just the same thing over and over. Everyone is just a copy pasta of each other. And that's kind of the way PvE and PvP has kind of just evolved. Whether you enjoyed the old mod system where you could have more diverse playstyles, or whether you enjoyed the more simplistic, easy to use, nothing special mod system we have right now. Now it's just, they kind of just removed half the reason to build craft. And before there was so many reasons to build craft, because then you could, proc warmind cells off each other, make infinite explosions go off, and it was actually cool and see whatever you could do with the game. But then they just removed it. Changes saying, hey, we think this is too in-depth and complex for most players, so they decided to go for a more simplistic way of playing the game. This is a hill I will die on, and it is the 3.0 subclass system is really bad. I think it's just overall makes the game way too simple, and it doesn't really bring any in-depth and reasoning to actually explore different things of the game. Everyone can use the same grenade, same fragments, and you can just make the same build on every single subclass. Or maybe I think the crafting system is really bad. Everyone's just gonna use the same gun, same perks, same everything. You're not gonna try to farm for a weapon and try to get a good roll of it. No, why would you do that? That's a waste of time. You're just gonna get the weapon you're after, craft it, and then you get the godroll you saw on YouTube. Forsaken was a golden era, I would say. The reason I think Forsaken was so good was because it added new subclass trees, so that didn't mean it was just a copy pasta from whatever you wanted to make. It added weapon random rolls, which allowed you to complexly figure out which perks and weapons you wanted to use. And now we don't have any of that. The game is evolving into a more of a simplistic, easy to play, very, very casual game. Sure, that's what people might want, but for playing the game over 9 years, my bad. I'm gonna say this right now. People are not engaged anymore. People don't care about the story. People don't care about what builds you can make in PvP. People don't care about weapon perks. People only care about what's the top, best, easiest to use, and whatever is the simplest to play as. That's why you suddenly see a surge of Void Titans rise in PvP. That's what every single player uses. If you even choose or dare to play anything else, you're a cyber criminal. You're a freak. You're weird. You should be harassed. Every time I click on a streamer and see people match Hinra, they either praise him for playing such a different playstyle, or they harass him for playing with such degenerate loadout as such as something that isn't a handgun or a shotgun, SMG or a sniper. How dare you, right? How could you ever touch anything that's not what I think is the best? But that's what makes Destiny Destiny. You should be able to use whatever you want. Whether people say it's good or bad, you have the option and opportunity to play as you want. But people don't take that opportunity, and the game just feels less and less engaging for every single year this game goes by. I think this is why people don't buy into Destiny anymore. I think this is why people don't care about the game like they used to anymore. It's because this game is just a copy-paste of whatever is the best. PvP don't feel engaging. PvE don't feel engaging whatsoever. There's no reason to run the raids anymore because you have all the weapons crafted. Every single piece of activity is time-gated in some other way, and making it so much more unbelievably more painful to farm. If you don't play for a week, let's say you're after the Vogue weapons, you really want that time lost found verdict because you can't craft it. What's gonna happen? You forgot to play the week where Master Vogue was in rotation. Now you have to wait 6 weeks before it comes back. And what's even the point of you caring about playing those next 6 weeks anyway? You're after Timeless Fun Verdict. Bungie doesn't give you a reason to play the game then and there, they give you a reason to play in a week, maybe in 2 weeks. And it makes the game painfully boring and a waiting game. Before, you could just log on, jump into the forge you wanted to do, farm for the handkin you were after. Let's say you were after a Kindle Orchid. You could do that instantly. As soon as the forge was unlocked, you had the possibility of farming this weapon for as much as you wanted. The replayability, whether you want to say it's because of weapon crafting or not, the replayability is gone. This game has become a waiting game for you to be able to craft your next weapon. Sure, if Bungie went for a more complex crafting system like any other game would have had, where you kind of have to farm for the weapon to be able to get the god roll. Maybe. If it was more expensive, more resourceful to be able to craft something, maybe people would have looked at crafting weapons as something special. But no, weapon crafting is just a way for people who plays the game casually to be able to get whatever the best player has, and it removes the whole reason of playing the game. What's the point of replaying the missions for farming a weapon? There's not. What's the point of playing this seasonal content when you craft all the weapons? Nothing. What's even the point of playing the seasonal content to begin with because you get the engrams for playing anything else? There's not. And I've touched upon this many times before, and people keep arguing with me saying weapon crafting is the best thing to ever play the game. Weapon crafting is the only reason I play the game. But when you think about it, it's the only thing that's making people disengage from the game because it's way too boring, way too simplistic. You don't need to play or farm whatsoever. First hour of me playing on my new light account, I unlocked Risk Runner, which would carry me through the rest of the game up until now. Even still, it's one of the best weapons you could possibly get as a primary weapon. If you know how to proc Arc Conductor on yourself, it's always going to be active and be insanely powerful. Bungie first of all needs to figure out which identity they want for the game before they make radical changes that's going to change the game forever. Bungie needs to give us an in-depth way of playing the story that we once had and people want to experience for their first time ever. People want to learn and enjoy the game like we once did, but there is not. People want to explore the worlds that was lost to us because of sunsetting, this great thing that we talk upon, which is the forges for the incredibly in-depth and insane black armor weapons. Maybe you're thinking about Menagerie, the really cool and interesting way of farming weapons with the relic system. Overall, this game has killed itself. That's the best way of saying it. Bungie is making this game way too casual, and I feel like we're headed towards another year one. If we're not already in it, where there was barely any variety in weapon playstyle and loadout. The game was just a copy-paste of each other. People didn't find the grinding to be anything meaningful or rewarding, but that's what Forsaken changed. And we have gone straight back into that hellhole. Maybe next season will change my mind and perspective overall. But with these big flaws that they have made over the years, there's just nothing I can see them doing unless they just rework it all. Which is gonna be way too much resources for Bungie to handle in this current situation. And I just want you to understand, I'm pointing these things out that people actually enjoy because it kinda deceives you in a way. You think it's the best change they've ever made by thinking about weapon crafting, making you be able to obtain the best weapons in the game with zero effort. 3.0 subclasses, making you be able to make the most insane builds with barely any knowledge or in-depth gameplay. AE almost forcing you to the ground in PvP because of the way people played. I don't want to say the casuals ruined this game, but I think for the people who played this game every single day and enjoyed the experience they were getting, it's kind of what happened. The people who almost barely played it kind of changed it in a way that we didn't enjoy. It made the game way too simple, way too easy, and at the end of the day, Destiny 3 would be the better solution.